Hello, YouTube fans. I am finally back with another video. I'm gonna pick a book to read for you today. I know which one I'm gonna read already. Some of you might have heard this, in which case you'll be even happier to hear it again. And those of you who haven't heard it yet will be hopefully as excited about it as I am. It is called A Voice Named Aretha, and it is about a woman that I have come to admire very much, and a woman who I now listen to every morning in my headphones here when I get up. Every morning I say it's a good day to listen to Aretha Franklin, and one day maybe I'll stop, but it's been going on quite a while. And so when I found this book, I was so excited to read it to my class. And now that I am making a video, it's in my pile of my favorite books, and I've grabbed it to read it. So if you've already heard it once and you really don't want to hear it again, then you don't have to listen. But if you did hear it, you know how good it is, so you will be, I expect you'll be glad to have the opportunity to hear it again. And for those of you who are my former students, hello, I miss you all. I would like you to come visit me in my classroom. I will give the Zoom addresses to people to give them to you. And you may come and see me after you're done with school, okay? Because I would like to visit everybody. And remind me all your names, because if you all come to visit at once, I'm going to be so excited. I am just going to forget everybody all of a sudden. A Voice Named Aretha. This is a brand new copy of this book. I got an extra so I can keep loaning it out to my friends, who turns out are mostly teachers. Not all of them, but mostly. A Voice Named Aretha. Folks came from miles around to hear Reverend C.L. Franklin preach at New Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan. The famous preacher gave soul-stirring sermons that could make you shout, moan, or nod and whisper, Amen. The Franklins' big brick house was always brimming with people and music. Everybody who was anybody in music and civil rights visited the Franklin home. Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, Dinah Washington, and Nat King Cole. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a close friend and a regular guest. It was in this house, full of talking, singing, and organizing, that a shy little girl named Aretha Louise Franklin grew up. Aretha and her brothers and sisters loved singing in church, clapping along with the organs, drums, and tambourines. Each young Franklin wanted to shine bright for Daddy. Little Aretha had the biggest voice of all. She sang soulful trills and powerful riffs with a deep, easy feeling well beyond her years. No doubt about it, Aretha was the star child. This is the sad page. When Mother Barbara and Daddy Franklin's marriage ended, Mother moved back to Buffalo, New York. The children stayed with their father and visited their mother every summer. Quiet Aretha missed her mother dearly, but she enjoyed watching her care for patients at the hospital where she worked. She cherished the nurse's kit Mother gave her. But in 1952, right before Aretha turned 10, something very sad happened. Her mother passed away. Part of Aretha's heart died right along with Mother Barbara. A few months later, Aretha practiced to sing her first church solo. The week before her performance, she was a bundle of nerves and tears. When the day came, she stood on a chair and belted out, "Jesus, be a fence around me." More than 1,000 people heard Aretha sing that beautiful, uplifting song. At only 10 years old, she figured out a way to draw strength from her sadness. Music was Aretha's calling. Singing it and playing it, she spent hours listening to rhythm and blues, gospel and jazz records, letting the words and melodies take her imagination to exciting new places. With her uncanny ear for music, when Aretha heard someone sing a tune or play a song on the piano, she could sing it or play it right back, just like that. 12-year-old Aretha joined the gospel caravan, Daddy Franklin's traveling ministry. Church folks from California to North Carolina marveled at the young girl with the voice of an old soul. Just like her daddy's preaching, Aretha's singing could move people to jump up, sway, and hum along. You can hear my dogs barking now, maybe. They are playing their famous game called bucket ball, or it's not bucket ball, dinner bowl ball, where they play like soccer. Oh no, it is a water bottle. It's a giant water bottle that's like this big, and they're carrying it around and playing soccer with it. So now they've run away with it, so they're okay. By age 18, Aretha was ready to share her talent with the world. She moved to the Big Apple. That means New York City. She moved to the Big Apple, where she and Daddy Franklin met with Phil Moore, a famous voice coach. After hearing her sing and play the piano, he was an instant fan. "I can't take your money," he told Daddy Franklin. He could see that Aretha already had her own musical style. Before long, Aretha had signed a deal with a top recording company. Aretha was a songbird ready to fly. To be a superstar. The 1960s were a turbulent time. By law, whites and blacks were separated in schools, churches, libraries, swimming pools, even graveyards. People wanted change. They marched in the streets, demanding jobs, racial equality, and an end to the Vietnam War. Aretha paid close attention to the news. She knew that separate meant unequal and refused to perform for whites-only audiences. Aretha sang only where people of all races could attend. She stayed true to what she learned as a child, that every person deserves fair treatment. So she would not participate in any racist activities. You gotta like that about Aretha. And the next page, we're gonna like her because she's super smart. Before she went on tour with her band, Aretha was warned that club owners sometimes tricked singers out of their money. No way was she going to let that happen. She demanded payment in cash before the show. And when she went on stage, she always put her handbag where she could see it. Aretha could put on a show and take care of business. She didn't let anyone take advantage of her. Although the crowds loved her, Aretha's albums flopped. She had worked too hard to let her talent go to waste. She had to do something big. She got a new band and signed on with a new record company, and finally a smash hit. "I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You" sold more than 1 million records. A few months later, her sing-along classic, "Respect," was released. We've listened to that in our class. Then came the icing on the cake when Aretha was crowned the Queen of Soul. At last, she had found her groove. Aretha wasn't afraid of hard work. That's where she gets her crown for being the Queen of Soul. Soul is a kind of music, and she's the queen of it. So if you want to know what soul sounds like, listen to her music. Maybe I can put some on at the end of this. I don't know how that would work if I put music on my computer, on my iPhone. We'll see. Seeing the Queen of Soul perform was an experience to remember, and in 1987, her lifetime of music was celebrated when she was the first woman voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In honor of her gospel elders, Mahalia Jackson and Clara Ward, Aretha often wore a fur coat on stage, just like they did. When she strolled out in her floor-length mink, everyone could see that Aretha Franklin had arrived. Aretha kept singing through the sweet spots and the rough patches of her life. She learned that hit songs did not always guarantee love or happiness. Some of the men Aretha fell in love with were as good as gold. A few were not so nice. In time, she learned to demand a little respect from everybody. Aretha's music didn't just soothe her pain. It inspired Black people, women, and people of all colors to stand up for justice. Whenever she performed, Aretha left the crowd with a soulful memory. There's those dogs again. Aretha used her voice as a helping hand. When opera singer Luciano Pavarotti got sick before a performance, Aretha put her music skills to work. She had 20 minutes to learn Nessun Dorma before going on stage. TV audiences around the globe saw her masterful performance. She sang in English and in Italian. Since high school, Aretha donated money to people and businesses in Detroit. She also performed in lots of concerts to raise money for civil rights groups. Aretha used her voice to make people feel good and to make the world a better place. This picture is a true story because I watched it on YouTube. You can look it up. If you look up Aretha and Obama crying, because he cried when she sang. So let me read this page. Aretha's voice had magic tucked inside, and that magic could work a spell. Sometimes the spell brings people to tears, even the President of the United States. Each one of her songs is like a sermon, with a story and a lesson, seasoned with life, wisdom, hard work, and always lots of soul. They remind us of the greatest joy, or the deepest pain. The shy girl who sang with a broken heart set her sights high and became a confident singing powerhouse. Aretha believed in her gift and dared us to believe in it too. Her songs inspire us to think, love, and respect ourselves and one another. When we hear her sing, we can thank our lucky stars that our ears crossed paths with a voice named Aretha. Now your homework is to go on YouTube or wherever you listen to music and look up Aretha. You don't even need her last name because there's really only one, although her last name is Franklin. But if you write Aretha, Aretha, you will get things of her. And you could hear a song called Respect. You could hear a song called Say a Little Prayer for You. You could hear a song called Bridge Over Troubled Waters. So many favorites of mine. So if you do that, let me know. Let me know below in the comments if you are back watching my video. Let me know if you want if you have any requests of any favorite books that I've ever read for anybody. Just write it in the chat. If you can't write it in the chat, you could text me, or you could email me, or you could call me. And if worse comes to worse, you could tell your teacher, ask your teacher how to reach me, and your teacher could get a message to me, and I could find you. Okay, have a great night, everybody. Hope everybody liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Good night.